Hi, I'm Danielle Archambault. I go to Concordia University, John Wilson School of Business, and I'm majoring in administration.
Hi, I'm Jenn Solman. I also go to Concordia and the John Wilson School of Business. I'm majoring in Human Resources Management.
Great. And you guys are watching on Political Bouillon. So today's topic is going to be the gun industry, and we're going to be talking about how people feel about it and whether or not it's a good choice or if it's not a good choice. So we're going to start over here. First question. The economy. We know that the Conservative government is spending billions of dollars on fighter jets and on other useless stuff. Do you think it's important that we have $20 million annually for a gun registry?
Well, from what I've heard, the registry is for long guns, correct?
Yeah.
So for hunting guns,
Yep.
not for handguns.
Yep.
So the registry is used by, okay, well, I don't know about police force, but let's see. In terms of the economy, I mean, what does it really do? Like, what are we paying for? It's reporting who has long guns, right?
Yeah.
So how often do we use that? How often is that necessary for these, for testing?
Well, we use it a lot for, like you said, for recording information and kind of making sure that it happens. The point of the registry is that when you buy a long gun, like you said, like a hunting rifle or anything, you then record or you register that you have that gun. So your name, Jenn Solman, would be in there next to whatever rifle you have with a serial number. So the $20 million a year that's being used is being used to just have the government record that information, which then goes to the police force, so the police force can use that information in case there's ever a stolen gun or a shooting or something, that they have an indication and a way to start going.
But it seems to me like most of the guns recorded are for, for hunting purposes.
Okay.
For people who aren't at risk for killing other people.
Okay.
Like, it's not the criminals' guns who are being recorded, because they can get guns, black market, I don't know about it, but I mean, I know there's ways to get guns.
Okay.
So I feel like the gun registry is more for the hunters and people who use it for, like, not good reasons, but not the criminal reasons.
Okay.
So I don't feel as if it was so necessary, and I'm not totally against abolishing it. But what you want to talk about, where the money's going to go, that's a whole other issue.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't, obviously.
But of course, like speaking like the $20 million.
I don't know where it's going to go. But,
Okay.
I mean,
do you think it's
knowing
better
the conservative
spent in
government, it's probably not going to go somewhere good, but I mean, it's not like it was being put to an super important use in the first place. So I mean, maybe they'll redirect it somewhere better.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, yeah. Do you think it'll go towards the economy, or do you think it's going to stay more in the crime system? Or?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll go towards training police better or something related to
Okay, Danielle, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know where the money's going to be going, but I think that if it were to be redirected in maybe helping provinces maybe come up with systems that maybe could help find criminals or something, that would be useful of using the 20 million. But I don't know where it's going to be headed, so I don't know. But if they're using the 20 million now for the gun registry, I think it's a lot. But at the same time, if police are using it for their job to find the criminals, and that's what they use, they use it over 17,000 times a day, I think it's useful. But at the same time, it is a lot of money, so I can understand the economic point of view as well.
And what about how because the Conservatives' main argument is that it cost a couple $1 billion just to set it up to begin with, so it was a $1 billion boondoggle, as they like to call it. You guys think that even though now it's only $20 million, I know you mentioned that you don't really think it's that necessary, but do you think more on the speak of their crime agenda, so trying to make sure that they really put prisoners in bars, do you think it's worth it, the $20 million?
But I don't think it was serving to put prisoners in bars.
Okay.
I think that's what they, that's why it was put into place, that was its intention, I think, and that's why people are for, oh yeah, register guns, less crime.
Okay.
But, I mean, there could be other factors contributing to that too.
Yeah.
What was your initial question? Sorry, I forgot. It was.
Well, do you think that $20 million is worth really going into the gun registry?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, well, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Danielle?
It depends. I feel I understand her point of view, but I think that I don't think that abolishing it is the right thing to do. So to me, spending 20 million on the gun registry, though, I think it's useful because I think it's important to know where the guns, where they come from, and for cops to be able to track them down. I mean, I think it's I think it's useful.
I actually saw a video on YouTube. I don't know how credible it is, but it was two guys talking. One was a cop. One was, I don't know who the other guy was. His friend, I guess. They're on a road trip. They're saying you know, the cops, like, they don't use it that much. When they use it, it's for, say, they're dispatched to a house, they'll see if that house is, you know, registered gun owner. But like I said before, handguns aren't taken into account. You know, knives aren't taken into account.
Yeah, they're illegal.
It's like, you know, it's, I mean, they look at it, but they have to assume, no matter what, that there is a gun there. They have to assume there's a possibility that there's a gun. They have to assume that it's like the worst, most dangerous situation. So I don't think it's making that much of a difference.
Okay. No, yeah.
But at the same time, I heard that the gun registry, though, like the police, though, like since it came into effect, like there's been like 69% less like domestic abuse at the same time, and I think part of that is because, like, you know, they check to make sure if someone is being abused or whatever, like if a gun is in the house or whatever.
Domestic abuse?
Yeah.
Like physical abuse?
Yeah, and then if there is, then they check to see if there's a gun. But like a lot of violence, like the percentage has gone really down since the like gun registry has been put in place. So I mean, at the same time,
But I just don't see the connection between long guns and like
And
crime.
abuse. Okay.
And abuse. Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, of course. And you mentioned how, like, crime rates, like
Yeah,
really the
they've
big,
gone really
the big quote, the big vague word, crime rates, with including like domestic violence and including other sorts of different crimes, has gone down since. Do you guys say that would be because of the registry, or do you think it's more other reasons?
I think it helps. I think the gun registry helped limit the amount of guns that are being circulated and given to people. I think that it plays in a part, because people who do register their guns, normally they're not like, they don't buy them to harm people.
Okay.
But I mean, you do have those people on the side who probably, if they want to harm you, they're going to find a way to get their gun anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, the amount of people that limits, I mean, I think because of the gun registry, there's a lot less than there would be if we don't have it.
Okay. Okay, Jen, would you have any?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I read from a couple sources that crime rate was going down prior to the gun registry being implemented. And also at the same time, when the gun registry came into effect, there was, you know, they started programs to educate people on how to like handle their guns safely. They had better storage systems for the guns, so, you know, kids couldn't get to them. People, if someone broke into your house, you couldn't get them and all that. So I think those things really played a part as well.
Okay.
So
You don't say
definitely
it's all
it
just the gun registry?
could have had part, but I think there was also other factors that we need to fail to consider. You know, and at the same time, people are becoming, you know, less prone to be criminals. People are becoming more civilized. People are more knowledgeable on how to use guns and stuff like that. So I think that definitely plays a part in the declining crime rate.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would agree. I'd agree a little bit more on that with Danielle. I'd say that, yeah, kind of the gun. Well, no, yeah, the gun. It's a discussion, right?
Yeah.
The gun industry, I find, kind of had more of a reason why there's less guns circulated. If you know you have to actually register and pay for it, then you're gonna be less likely to get it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the whole point that it came about was because, like, of the shooting at Polytechnic, like, way back. So, I mean, they came out with it hoping that because the people had to register their guns, it would lower the amount of crimes that happen. And I mean, I think it has, and I think that it's something that we should keep. I don't know.
But if you're not registering handguns in the registry, then
What's the point?
isn't it? Yeah, and like
yeah.
that's like the biggest thing for me. And like they're like they're just recording what hunters are doing. They're like, it's almost like, I want to say like intrusive on like what they want to do with it, how many guns they want to own and stuff. But if you really want to record crime and you want to record guns, like record all guns, record all weapons. You know, not just long guns, not just what hunters use. Those are the harmless people. Like, you're gonna crack down on criminals. You know, like, you know, better like maybe like infiltrate the black market. But that's impossible. But like, you know what I mean? Like, focus the money more towards crime and like handguns and what actually is killing people instead of long guns.
At the same time, there's so many regulations when you go hunting that I think that just registering your gun is such a small step that you have to do compared to everything else you have to do when you like hunt.
I'm not against that, but I think they should, if they want to go all the way with long guns, then they should go all the way with handguns.
I agree with that too.
Okay, yeah.
So,
like if you register, you have to register the car you used to go hunting, you have to register the duck that you just shot, you have to register
the gun. Like, it's such a small step compared to everything else. I mean, if you're willing to do everything else, you might as well do that. It's such a small step, like.
Great.
But I agree with her that, like, you know, they should register all types of guns.
Perfect. Okay. When you guys talked also about the police force and how that's a huge part of the registry, and it going down or it staying up. We have like cities like Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, even Calgary and Vancouver, for example, even said that they wanted to keep the registry. They didn't want to get rid of it. Do you guys think that it's really useful for the police? I know we branched a bit about it, but
I think it is. I read that they use it over like 17,000 times a day just to find out where it is. And I mean, by the Conservative Party like trying to abolish what's happening, I think they're just like turning back the clock on time, because I mean they're gonna have to go to store, like just continue looking for stores to see where the person purchased it, when they could just enter it in a computer, find it, and it'd be like the end of the it'd be so simple. So it's just making it harder on them. And I find that, you know, like each province, that they should have the rights to have the documents that they that the government is going to abolish, so that they don't lose that, and so that, you know, like they can enforce something on their own. Because I mean, it's the police's job. Like, you know, you're taking away something that's crucial to their job, and I think it's kind of like a slap in the face. And a slap in the face, like some policemen, like it's something that's crucial for their job.
Of course, yeah.
So they use it like 17,000 times a day, but how useful is it? Like, does it really help in like fighting crime?
Yeah, does it really target the crime?
Like, yeah, sure, because like they use it that often, because I think they check every time they get into a house, they have to check if there's a house there.
Yeah.
So, you know, that makes sense.
Yeah, like the Conservatives, like their argument is that like if a person, like you said, really wants to kill someone, they're gonna get the gun somehow and they're not gonna register it. The criminals are gonna get it, you know?
I do, but I think that having the gun in the street limits the amount of people who would be willing to do that.
Exactly. And so then would you say that like the police force, and we have the major cities really saying that they want to keep the registry. Do you think that do you think maybe that it should just be that the cities will have it and the rural areas will kind of be
I've heard that
the
province, like some provinces, especially Quebec, I read that they want to come up with their own registry, and they want to have the documents from.
Which is its own issue.
Of course, Quebec wants their own registry.
But they want the documents that the government has, and the government is basically denying it. And I think that that's something that, I mean, we should have the right to have the documents before you burn them or whatever, to just have them or whatever it is.
Why is the government getting rid of all the documents?
The idea is that if you get rid of all the documents, it's not possible to bring it back.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's just like, let's say you have a law that like no one's allowed to have pink purses anymore. You can easily pass another law, the next government that comes in, and everyone's allowed to have pink purses.
And I think that's kind of, I don't agree with the way they're going about it. I think that, you know, we should have a say, and it's almost like they're not even taking into consideration what everyone wants, and it's just basically what they want, and it's a little frustrating, because I think even if the people are for conservatives, there might be people who are still against getting rid of the gun registry, and they're not even listening to like the Canadian people, because a lot of people are against getting rid of it.
Okay.
So I think it's kind of
okay. Yeah. So the fact that the conservative government's going to really scrap all the information on top of it.
I think that's what bugs me more than anything. I mean, if they want to get rid of it throughout their, time in Parliament, that's fine, but don't get rid of it so that we can never bring it back.
Like transfer the data over to the provinces.
Yeah, and I think that's where my issue with them abolishing all the records is what like really annoys me most.
Jen, do you have any?
I'm just wondering, like, what other motive could there be, like, to get rid of it?
Well, to me, basically, this idea is it's just an ideological battle. It's just conservatives have always been against the registry. The west of Canada has always been against the registry, as they are more of a going out and conservative. They are more of a hunting type region, whereas we are here in East Canada. So it's more of to me, it's a complete ideological battle, which is why we're dealing with this. Why you have like liberals really against it and like conservatives completely for getting rid of the registry. You know what I mean? To me, that's really the only motive that I can see. So do you guys have any last words you want to say?
I think I said it.
You guys said?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.